And I'm not trying to prove anyone wrong. I have been participating in all the debates and votes, including the year 2025, the debate about finance bill. The other issue that has been raised is the issue of impeachment. And I have seen, of course, that being attached to what is currently on the table. And I also want to give my view on that. And I would want to request anyone to tell me whether they have actually ever heard the second deputy president complaining about that impeachment vote. And the reason you don't hear is because, as you all know, and majority of you in front of me have covered other impeachments, including for governors. Any vote that requires a 2/3 majority, you do not win it by voting. You win it by denying the 2/3 majority in the House. That is what you have seen all the governors do. If you have 30 MCAs, you make sure 10 do not turn up, and the agenda collapses. And the reason they do that, and has been happening, is that there is still a huge possibility that a person who actually came to save you will be bought along the way, as it happened even in this particular case. So whatever I have done and tried to do it in all good faith, because there is actually nothing to hide about that. But I thought it is important that I address it at this particular time. As I go to the close, and we'll say a few things in Swahili. Yesterday, I got a call from one of my friends. He's called Councillor Johi. And I have received also many concerns from my friend Abdi, my friend Ajiki, my friend Dunstan from Nambale, and many other Kenyans, as I've seen their feedback on the social media. And what Councillor Johi told me is, jana, and I'll put it in Swahili, hiyo mambo umeitana kesho, hata kama unatuambia mambo ya finance bill, hiyo ni sawa, lakini pia tunataka utueleze mambo yako ya kisiasa. And I have seen that feedback, overwhelming feedback from Kenyans. And I want to appreciate that there are many Kenyans who would want to hear our view on that. And on the same call, before I address the main issue, another person, or actually not that one, another person called me. I've been having many conversations with Kenyans. One Kenyan concerned told me, you need to clear some of these things that are being done by, of course, in the political space. Because as when you are vulnerable, the way I have been vulnerable for the last 1 week, even the political competitors, of course, they get a field day and they want to maximize on it. So one of them told me, hey, you heard what Junet said? Then I asked him, what did he say? He said something in effect, then I went and checked, maybe you have seen. Then I asked the same person, did you believe Junet? The person told me no. Then I told him that question has been answered, that it is not important for me to respond to such an issue where even Kenyans themselves, they know some of the people raising them, they do not trust them by themselves because of how they have handled other matters before. And therefore, humbly, I'll go to the other points without belaboring that one, because it's obvious, and I think you all know that when you are vulnerable, watu watachukua hiyo nafasi pia kukulima kisiasa. And I don't blame them because makosa ni yangu. The things I've been saying, to put it very plainly, especially matters to do with the economy and the running of the economy. There is no way you can do those things when you are supporting the government. It is obvious. Because if you are doing that, then you just give them your views. So I hope now with clarity is that I keep on giving alternative voices even in public and parliament. Because as Kenyans are very quite aware, we no longer support the government of the day and how it runs the affairs of the economy. But of course, people would want more. like some of the calls I've been having. And there is a person I asked this question. Between the issues that we've been handling that are very weighty, for example, the ones that I have cited, I have been thinking it is also important for us to have people who are soberly looking at such issues that are far-reaching to the welfare of our country, Kenya. The second thing is that, and I'm addressing this issue of many people and Kenyans on social media and also calls, WhatsApp conversations, people are telling me, sasa lazima utuambie msimamo wako wa kisiasa. I have stated one categorically, which I'm sure you are all aware even before you came here, that there is no way I can speak the same things I speak about if I am still in government. But I also want to repeat, I cannot also blame anyone who would want me to keep on explaining the same matter, and especially the people in the political space, because they are doing their job as politicians to keep you on toes. Now, the biggest conversation is, which I've had in terms of feedback, then tell us, where are you? And I want to say this with a lot of humility. I was part of the team that campaigned around the country in the year 2022. And most of the times when I tried to give alternative views and to criticize, the message that always comes to me loudly is, but you are part of these people. It is you who came to convince us. And out of that learning, probably, it has made me to be more cautious and reflective. I have taken a lot of time to look at the political scenario in the country. And I'm still taking that time because I would request and plead with Kenyans to understand my perspective. That the single most important decision that we are going to make as a country is that decision about how do we want our country to proceed. And how we want our country to proceed is bound up together with who are these individuals who will come together and do this job. And that is what the question have to answer most of the time, maybe inconclusively. The reason I am taking time and have taken time is because for me, this decision is not about my political convenience. It is about what Kenya will become. If I'm to be selfish and inward looking, I live in Kenya. I know what I need to say, and I become a sensation politically immediately. We have been on that path before. If I want to engage in a popularity contest, I know exactly what I need to say even today. But the question I want to ask ourselves as Kenyans, after that, where do we live Kenyans? And I have been working on something for the last many months. Something around that question. Objectively, in terms of the kind of Kenya we would want to have. Because it is the kind of Kenya that we would want to have that then would dictate what kind of team do we need to do this job. So I want to plead with Kenyans so that I am not pushed in the situation of the moment as the storm has been ravaging on me. It is too weighty a decision to make, and especially when there is a storm. Not that I don't know what we need to do and who we need to work with, but in terms of the deliverables to the people of Kenya. And I would request so that I do not get into the same ditch I have been into, where I speak and I'm reminded that I was part of a certain team back then. I request Kenyans to give me 3 to 4 weeks to share my views, specific views on that issue of political formations and the things that we need to do in terms of our Republic of Kenya going forward. I know that is underwhelming because everyone would want me to call the press and just say one thing or the other. But I am convinced, because I have experience of having been on the same path before, I am convinced with time that Kenyans that are giving us this patience will vindicate us and will be vindicated. That the kind of decision that we must make must be far-reaching in terms of what our country needs and where we need to go, and then we try to see who are these people who would come together to do that job.